Hello, my name is Eva and I would like to invite you to a mindfulness San Pedro retreat here in Peru in the Valle Sagrado. And first of all, I want to introduce you to Bernard, a guy that works with Wachuma, also called San Pedro. So maybe you can just say a few words about yourself and how you came to work with the healing plant.
Okay, so I came to Peru the first time. I'm from South Africa originally. Came to Peru the first time in 2007 to drink ayahuasca for depression. I was depressed for about 12 years as a result of medical trauma. And that initiated a long journey of healing with plants, which eventually shifted into working with San Pedro for myself, and eventually shifted into working with San Pedro for others as well, after about 6 years of use of the plants, working with other teachers for our own healing.
So what is San Pedro exactly and what does it do?
So San Pedro is a columnar cactus that grows throughout the Andes range, from Ecuador to northern Argentina. It's been used for at least 3,000 years here in the Andes. We know this because of the Chavin culture. Their drawings and their they found San Pedro as well at Chavin, I think. And so we know it's been used sporadically by different cultures for at least 3,000 years, possibly longer. And so it's, as I said, it's a tall columnar cactus. It contains mescaline, but really that's reductive. There's a whole bunch of alkaloids. It is used as a healer, as a healing medicine, as a plant, as a sacrament, here across the Andes.
Is it, I heard it's also called the heart opener?
Yes, very much so. So each plant medicine will have its speciality, and San Pedro most definitely works on activating the heart center, opening the heart, helping us look at how we hold relationship to ourselves, to the world around us, and everything that has to do with the heart, so it can really help us to accept ourselves, accept aspects of ourselves. It's a medicine that is capable of doing many things, but its speciality is most definitely heart.
So why should I take it, or what is the motivation for most people coming here to drink San Pedro?
Most people seem to have a sense of being called to do the work with a specific plant medicine. Because San Pedro is lesser known, people tend to be called by ayahuasca, some sense that if they are experiencing issues in their life or need healing in any specific area, might be psychosomatic, psychological, mental or physical. They're drawn to come and work with ayahuasca or San Pedro. Very often I find people coming primarily for ayahuasca and then hearing about San Pedro and then giving some time to that too. So to answer your question, I think that the best time to work with it is if you feel that you should be working with it. Feeling cold is normally the best reason to drink. Obviously, if people are experiencing difficulties and struggling to shift these difficulties with normal allopathic methods, psychotherapy, or any of the other methods available, sometimes the plants can hold the key to help as well. But it's something that it needs to be a calling that we feel that, yes, this feels like it's going to be right for us.
So what effects do I have to expect drinking San Pedro?
So I think that the most important thing is to come willing to experience almost anything, as the plants can bring up so many different aspects for so many different people, depending on what energies they're holding, what kind of blockages they're holding in the configuration of whatever the disease is or the difficulties that they're experiencing. Typically people experience a little bit of nausea. They might be throwing up as a form of release. But then from there on, I really don't like to say too much because it can also create expectation. Anything from having a little bit of a visionary effect seeing shapes in the mountains, faces in the mountains, seeing the earth breathe, and then very typically a lot of emotional intensity. So it tends to bring emotions up quite strongly so that we can feel them, and in that way release the energy that the emotion has as it's been stored in the body. But it can entail such a wide variety of experiences that it's difficult to summarize into
for
one.
sure. So is it very typical that unconscious feelings come to the surface?
Most definitely. It's typical for those who have that. So people who have unexpressed and unacknowledged emotions that have been stored in the body or suppressed, that haven't been people haven't allowed themselves to feel, will very often arise if they're part of what the person's intention is, why they're here to work, what they're here to work on. If that is part of the problem, then it will most definitely arise to be felt. So old reactions that haven't been acknowledged sometimes can also be manifested as physical pain or discomfort, emotional content, feeling of being blocked in the body. Tends to be more physical than, also emotional physical than mental.
Yeah, right. So one question, I mean, generally speaking, you could also maybe consider San Pedro not as a sacred medicine, but as a drug. I mean, in the West back, maybe this is more common. So, and I think for drugs, most specific characteristic is that it is addictive. Is there any risk of getting addictive to San Pedro?
None whatsoever on a physiological level. I think as much as you could perhaps get addicted to walking or satsang even, there is a possibility that you could use it continuously searching and seeking for an expansive experience. But when you're working with someone that is normally seen and perceived and worked with, in terms of a physiological response, in terms of using it in a retreat, most definitely not. Obviously from the West we have a reductionistic view. I don't have too much of a problem with that. It's an error in our thinking, I feel, coming to it saying, okay, it contains these alkaloids and it's because of the chemicals. It's a plant, and it's a plant consciousness that holds a key to open us. So for me, taking the physical liquid is just the catalyst required for an energetic opening to this plant, to spirit in general, so that healing can happen.
Okay, so you mentioned just that San Pedro is working as a catalyst. Can it be that my vehicle, my being, is not ready yet for what the medicine brings me? Can I be overwhelmed, or it's like completely...
Yes, I think not your being or your body. Normally if there's a calling to work with a plant or a feeling of that it's going to be good, we are ready. Sometimes our hearts, our bodies, our energetic body is ready. Sometimes the mind doesn't realize that we're ready. So the mind can sometimes experience a little bit of difficulty in accepting what is happening and coming up in the ceremony. But in my view, if people come to Peru to work with these plants, normally there's a sense of it and there's a readiness, there's a calling.
Yeah.
And so if people are having difficulty, then obviously we address it in the present moment and we work with that in order to get the person to relax a little bit more. I think there is a possibility that people can arrive without being ready. But in any kind of retreat or any kind of set work, normally there's quite a little bit of an interview process, seeing what the intention is about, and I think having a good feeling of an initial meeting, a primary meeting between the facilitator, the healer and the participants before the retreat starts is crucial.
Yes.
In terms of having a feeling of where everyone is and what their intention is.
I can relate to that. I feel it's very important to have a safe space, and you definitely offer one, so that's great. What benefits can I expect from working with a plant? I mean, you talked already a bit about it, but like long term or longer than the ceremony.
Well, I can talk from my experience and what I've experienced myself and what I've seen with many participants over the years is lasting shifts in terms of whatever it is that the person's intention is moving them towards. In general, if I could generalize, I could say a state of more peace with what our process of healing is. Specifically for me, the journey continues. There's always more layers of work to be done. But one of the biggest shifts it brought for me is not seeing these as problems that need to be solved immediately, but rather a part of life, continual exploration, some more peace and patience with my own process. But it can alleviate many things. It can alleviate many destructive patterns of thinking that don't serve us, patterns of closedness and contraction that we all experience at times. Can help us to be more open. The crucial aspect here, though, is that the plant is not a magic bullet. It helps us through reflection to do the work with grace, with help, but it's still our willingness to engage with these aspects of ourselves. So, as much as what we can do the work with the help of the San Pedro, with grace of spirit, that is the nature of the benefit we're going to receive. So again, it's very broad.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not so easy to put in words.
Yeah.
And one more question. Could you maybe say just a short sentence about what's the main difference to the much more known ayahuasca, which is for most of us more known? San Pedro is kind of not so well known yet.
Again, it's a difficult question that can only be answered in very broad and generalized terms. Ayahuasca obviously is from the jungle, San Pedro is from the mountains, and so already almost in that you can see the energetic difference, where San Pedro's column is very straight, holds quite a bit of solar energy up in the air. Ayahuasca's in the jungle, amongst the trees, lots of water. So in typical terms, people would describe the ayahuasca as more feminine, and San Pedro as the more masculine. For me, what that means is that the San Pedro tends to teach in a very direct, practical way, where the San Pedro, the ayahuasca can be quite abstract and
lots of visions as well.
Yeah, and mysterious. And so the ayahuasca tends to take us out, show us almost our place in the cosmos, quite astral in nature, unconscious aspects of ourselves, really like cosmic in scale, where the San Pedro for me tends to concern itself more in terms of our day-to-day life on this planet, practicality, embodiment of how we're living here and now. However, having said that, there can be quite a little bit of overlap experientially, like day and night.
And really literally.
Literally, ayahuasca in the night, San Pedro tends to be done in the day. And so, it's quite a different experience experientially. Again, I'm not going to say too much.
No, that's already fine. I just wanted to mention the ayahuasca as well. And one more question. How does a typical ceremony day work? I mean, what does happen there?
So depending on who you work with, that will change the specifics. With myself, we will all meet at 8 o'clock in the morning, share a cup of tea, and then around 8:30 we start the ceremony with a little bit of ritual, a little bit of tobacco, smudging and clearing, invoking of the space. We all drink the medicine, myself included. A little bit of singing initially, and then everyone finds themselves a comfortable space. And we wait for the plant to start working inside of our bodies.
So we are outside in the garden?
Outside in the garden, in in the day.
Surrounded by beautiful mountains and amazing
yes.
landscape.
And you know, as the plant starts working, then we can expect a whole variety of experiences. At the end of the ceremony, we close the ceremony. Typically the ceremonies are held in sacred silence.
Mm-hmm.
I engage with each participant during the day multiple times, but participants are requested to keep their silence.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of fruit salad is shared around noon. And then around the end we do a closing, which is an opportunity to give gratitude, and we light a big nice fire in the garden where we share a bowl of soup and some bread and have a chat, a talk.
Yes.
That's in a nutshell how the ceremony typically logistically looks.
Yeah, it's an amazing, beautiful space here, I can say. So yeah, I guess that's all for the moment. I hope you found some useful informations for you, and I'm very happy to offer retreats here with Bernard.
Thank you
in
very much,
Peru.
Eva. Thank you.